Hey, 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 happy birthday! What's up, David? Saw your post, man.
Man, yeah, I know.
You okay?
How do you say? It is what it is. Right now, not in a okay place, but I just try my best lang to, try to move forward, man. Trying to move forward.
Oh, you missed the episode where we talked about stress, and we were talking about, like, I was so stressed too. Like, this was what, 2 weeks ago, dude. I couldn't sleep. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Oh,
So
for
yeah,
real,
it was pretty
damn.
hard for me too. Um, so I saw your post. I don't really know what it is. But with me, it was pretty tough too, because I mean, I don't want to compare, like, what what we guys are going through. I mean, every person has to deal with, with their own monsters and whatnot. But so I just saw your post. It was like, oh, he missed that episode. But I'm just curious, like, is it something like, well, is this really, like, is this something really personal that you can't talk about, or is this something that you can talk about?
There's some like elements that I can't really talk about, and
Right.
maybe and then others I can share about it.
Right.
It's kind of normal that maybe for some people that some stress or some elements just come in out of nowhere and they cause you extra stress that you didn't really need. So I would say, like, for example, um I kind of disappointed my own self because I was able to achieve something. For example, I lost a lot of weight and then I regained it
Right.
again. I regained it
Right.
again due to the fact that I was just too stressed, and the only, how do you say this? The only coping mechanism I have, which is kind of, it's not really, I would yeah, it's my coping mechanism, is food. and
Food. Right.
and it got out of control. So right now I'm like kind of disappointed with myself. That's one of the reasons, and the others I can't really say it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's true. Like, we like, we deal with things, our own way. And yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that you do. Like, like, you find comfort in food. I know a lot of people who do that. Like, sometimes I do that. Right. Um. Yeah, but then I have all these things that I do. And there are times that I could, like, just, starve myself for about 2 days, and I just, like, my weight goes down. But still, from time to time, like, yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Especially in the winter, because it's pretty cold. I mean, you're in Europe right now, and it's pretty cold there, right? So I
It's
mean,
also
you just
cold
can't go
there.
out there and do right. I mean, you just
It's
can't go
also
out
cold
there and
there.
do things. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of true. Yeah, that's also true. Because, like, as much as you want to do it, but it's like that. I don't know how would you call it, like that hibernation mode, and you're like,
yes,
nah, like, nope,
yes.
just nope, just nope.
That's true. Oh, Joe Boy's on, like, joining us. Like, well, Rod is coming. Like, he's coming. Don't worry. Like, he said yes at 8 p.m. But David was already in the studio, so I was like, all right, like, we should just go on. Yeah, we're talking about, like, how to turn bad situation around, or, like, bad things into good things, or whatever. Like, we talked about this, like, a few I think a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about, like, how to deal with stress. It was, to me, mainly, it was about, my job for the last 15 years. And all of a sudden there were changes. It was very unexpected. And now I have to leave it. I have to jump ship. I have to decide now, or else it might be too late for me. I mean, the job's still there, but it's not the same location. It would be far. And the job offer that came to me was, well, is, also far, but it's quite, well, it's 50 kilometers versus 65 kilometers. Now, the 50-kilometer drive, that's like one way. So that's like, what, 100 kilometer every day for me. And the other one's like, what, 100 and like 20 plus whatever. So, well, Joe Boy, this is my like the thing that I went through last, like a couple weeks ago. It's almost sorted. Like I'm saying, it's almost because it's not yet. My feelings are not yet sorted out. So when I saw David's post about like going through something, I was like, "Hey, dude, hey, what's up? We should talk about it." Like a lot of people are concerned because people were like messaging him with like, "Oh, the song Jumper." Like it's I mean you never know these days, right? I know David's like a pretty strong guy, but then you never know. So I was like, well, maybe he needed somebody to talk to. So I was like, all right, we're having a show, and Rod's coming up. Like yeah, me and Rod are like doing a show, and I was like, hey, you should join us. And so I'm telling him he wasn't around a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it was about my job, and my choices are like a 50 kilometer, like job location or a 65 kilometer job location. Now the 65 like the 65 kilometer job is still the same job. I would still have those long vacations, right? Like I'm working for a public school, but I'm with a dispatch company, and I get to enjoy what students get to enjoy, right? Like the summer break, spring break, and winter break, and I get paid in full. My wages are paid in full, but they're not really like wage. Like the wage is fine, it's okay, right? But then there's no stability in it if you think about it. Like we have contracts with certain cities, and it's like every 3 years. So if you lose that contract, then that means if there's no contract nearby, then you're screwed. You're fucked, right? So I heard like we lost another contract from a different city, and the guy's moving like he's literally like moving, like not just 65 kilometers. Like he has to move his life. Like he has to move apartments and whatever. I can't do that. I have a house. So my only choice is that or this other job that has a promise of stability, and they have like several schools that's like, well, a train ride away, like a 30-minute train ride away, and that's really good. So I was like, all right, but then no more summer breaks, man. I mean, the summer breaks, the winter breaks, the spring breaks, those are like what? Like spring is like about 2 weeks, summer is like 40 days. You don't have to do anything for 40 days. And then the winter breaks like about almost 3 weeks. I would lose all of those and get to have like an actual job like most people have. Like yeah, right? So I was thinking like I have to talk to myself like, hey, you have to let go. You're not a student, you're a working man. Like you don't get to enjoy summer breaks anymore. So I was like, yeah, but it's still hard. My wife has been in that job for like the last 4 years, and she was fine. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. But still, I'm not yet okay with the fact that I'm going to lose all of those free time. And I would still wake up early in the morning around 3, 4. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to lose all of those. So I'm still trying to get, like in touch with my feelings and try to deal with it and come to terms with it. But I haven't fully come to term with it, like with the fact that I am losing it. But I mean, it's like, oh, but then it's, well, we lost the contract. I can't do anything about it. But still, I feel bad. I feel bad, and I'm not yet 100% like psyched. To, like, I'm trying to. I'm convincing myself, but I'm not there yet. That's my
but
situation.
is it also like the fact that I understand it's very difficult to make a change, like it's difficult as a mother effer, but have you also like thought of it because of your daughter at the same time? Because the thing is,
Yes.
like, is it because of your daughter mostly?
Yes. Mostly it's because of that. I would lose that time with her. Like I taught her bike in spring break. We had that so much time. So I got to prepare her like before she got into the first grade. She was able to do, like she could ride a bike, and we did a lot of things for the last 8 years because I was taking it was more of like my wife had the longer hours job, and she had like she had shorter breaks than I did. So I had to spend, well, I did spend a lot of time with my daughter, and mainly I have separation anxiety right now because I'm thinking about, oh my god, I will be separated from my daughter. I mean, not really because I've been coming home every night, but it's more of like the time that we would enjoy, just like, all right, just chilling, walking around the park, like being with her the whole time, take her to like whatever, take her shopping or wherever, like we did a lot of fun stuff. But then I'm also thinking that, well, she's growing up as well, and maybe she needs her mother this time around. That's what. like my colleagues are saying to me now, like especially the moms, they were like, well, she's going to be in third grade, she'll have more classes, she'll be spending more time in school, plus it's good that it's the mom's turn to be with her, and she might learn a lot of things about being a lady. I mean, she acts like a boy now, so maybe it's about time that she knows how to tie her hair, how to like wear a skirt. She's always wearing trainers. Like she looks like an athlete. Like, all right, ready to play soccer or basketball. So I'm like, well, it's about time the mom should be around and teach her how to do all these things. But I don't know, man. But you're right about that. It's about the daughter. How did you know
Yeah,
that? How did you get that?
actually, it's from Rod because we did a podcast together. He was a guest at mine. We were talking about like the priorities when you turn a certain age, or when you
Right.
have or when circumstances tend to change. And one of it, like for example, me and Rod had something in common. That, for example, rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, right? When he passed away tragically, both of us would say sayang, not because he retired, because he had finally the time to spend with his daughters after
Yes. Yes.
retiring in his
That's true.
NBA career. And and obviously, like, one of her daughters, like, playing basketball, had the potential to go even to college to play, to get a scholarship in a very famous NCAA university or college back in the States. And then the fact that that tragedy happened, it was also painful, not because we lost, like, obviously we lost Kobe the player, but we also lost Kobe the dad, because finally, after years of being in the for the Lakers and the NBA, he could finally become a dad. But sadly, that tragedy didn't permit him to do that, and we didn't see. I mean, we saw Black Mamba father mode, but at the same time, it's like it was not enough, because, like we were discussing, it's like when you have a kid, it's totally different. Like, especially now, Rod has two kids. So the fact that he's, creating content around them, especially like I saw the other day, his He-Man unboxing thing with his youngest one, laughed my
Right.
ass off. Laughed my ass off. And at the same time, it was like, when you told me about the time, I was like, yep, he's gonna struggle with his daughter. Feeling ko daughter yan, and then I was so right. I got it on the bullseye with the eyes,
Yes. Yeah,
because
it's actually bullseye. Like it's mainly like the job I can do. The job's fine. I can do any job. Like I've been in a like okay, in a factory job at Sony back then, right? That was for 6 months, and I'm like, no, I'm never going back to that. I'm not saying that it's a bad job. I'm not looking down on that job, but it's more of I'm not that strong to be in that sort of like in that sort of industry. Like there are people who'd be like, no, I'd rather be in that type of job than to be dealing with kids the whole day. And I understand that. So me, I'm like my personality doesn't fit that. And I'm like, no, I'm never going back to that sort of job. So I was like, all right. So the job itself, it's fine. But you're right. The time that I will lose with my daughter is something that worries me a lot. I've been talking to my wife and have been telling her like the routine is like this. She has to do this. She has to do piano. She has to do her homework first. She has to also do basketball a bit. She has to do dribbling outside, like outside the house. We don't have a basketball, like a basketball ring or a goal. So she has to like do what she can to improve her other skills like dribbling or passing. So I told my wife, you have to be doing this with her. Take her to the park. You can't be like just locking her up in the house and her not doing anything because my wife is like she's not an out she's not outdoorsy. So I've been telling her like you have my daughter is she likes the outdoors. Please take her out instead of just like giving her the iPad and letting her watch like all these things that some of them might probably help her, but for the most part, it might like affect her whatever, like her attention span, whatever that is that like these things do to you. So yeah, it's one of those things that I really needed to deal with right now. Oh,
I
Rod's here.
mean,
Hang on.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
All right,
By
Rod
the
Bob
power,
SquarePants.
by the power of Grayskull, I am Rod Rodriguez.
By the power of gray hair. Hold on, hold on. And the reason for my gray hair.
Of course, of
Yay!
He
course.
he has the power. Hey, what's
You
up? What's
asked
up,
for
man?
it, you got it. All right.
Hey, shout out to Joe Boy. Joe Boy,
I know.
sponsor,
I
cap
know. That's
sponsor.
from Joe Boy,
I'm
straight
telling you,
from
man.
England.
And hold on.
Straight from
So,
England.
what are we talking about here?
Well, here's the thing. The backstory of this is
Monster.
that I was scrolling down my, like
Games
my Facebook feed,
Monster.
and I saw David's post, something about like struggles and whatnot, and people were like
Yeah,
panicking,
kids these days.
right?
Y'all soft, man. Y'all soft.
All right. So I was like,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
we're doing a show. If you have time, come join us, because people are like so, like like so worried about him that there
Of
was this guy
course.
who just like posted something about like the jumper song. It's like that's about
I
like
just
jumping
watched
off whatever, right? Like so I was like, all right,
Yeah.
hey, join us.
But
Like,
you know what?
we can talk about it.
But you know what? I'll just say this. You know, David's a smart kid. I mean, he's
I
a
know,
smart
that's what I
adult.
said.
He's a smart adult, and he's gone through some adversity. And you know what? It's the people who go through adversity. They're the strongest people. All right. It's what gives you strength. You know. It's like if you make it through that, dude. You know, and it's like adding ammo. You know, like you're adding ammunition to prepare yourself for a bigger war. And you know, David's obviously at a stage in his life where his demons are different from what we're going through now because we're past that stage. I'm not saying that we passed it with flying colors. David might actually be in a better place than we were back when we were his age, but he's not married yet. He doesn't have kids yet. He doesn't have that level of responsibility yet. So he has plenty of time to think about himself, his mental health, his issues, because he doesn't really have to worry about too many people where he's responsible for their well-being. And people like us, you know, we're in a situation where we don't even have time to dwell on that because I got to think about this kid, what he's going to eat tomorrow and how is he going to go to school a few years from now. And Raj, you know, going through puberty issues, and my wife, you know, she has to have her fill too. So, and I think same with Ice, you know, I mean, so it's different when you're alone. It's a different kind of loneliness, and it offsets it because like David, you might not have the responsibilities and the situation that we're in right now, where you know we feel like we don't even have time to think much about our own issues because we're dealing with so many other issues that depend on us. But at the same time, you're also dealing with an issue that we don't deal with as much anymore, which is loneliness. And that's tough, dude, you know, because like we have a family. You know, like I have my family. Yeah, we have this responsibility, but it pays for itself because right, Ice?
I
We have
think
our
so.
family.
I think
They
so.
keep us sane. They keep us sane. Whereas
I
with
never
David,
quite
you
got
know,
that before. Then I had a friend who went through something like that. He's single. He's like 40, 43, 44, like almost
dude,
my
it's
age.
it's tough,
And
man.
he's been living alone by himself here in Japan. He's from England, and I think at some point when the pandemic hit, like we couldn't go out, he couldn't hang out with friends, and he was watching this Joker movie, like
Oh, yo, man, that's
like the
twisted.
Joker movie. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that he said that was
Joaquin
the trigger.
Phoenix. Joaquin
Yeah.
Phoenix.
So he said that was a trigger, and he was just like, "Oh, am I a time bomb waiting to explode? Am I a bad person? Am I, like he was just like,
I don't know.
and he didn't have anybody at
I
home,
don't know, Mommy.
and he was just
Yeah,
like, why am I not
I
married?
don't know.
yeah.
He had just like so many questions in
I
his
don't
mind,
know.
and it was so difficult for him
I
It's
don't
that
tough.
he just had a nervous breakdown. Right?
Oh
He
man.
walked for
My
about
sponsor,
10 hours, I guess, or
Maggie's
no, not 10, about 6 8 hours. He started walking, and
Sponsor.
he just like
Sponsor of the
he just like
movie.
collapsed. He just
See?
lost consciousness,
Sponsor
Oh my
of the
God.
fainted,
movie.
and he was
My
hospitalized. Then the
sponsor
doctor was like, "Oh, you'll be
hot.
fine, you'll be fine." But he was
My
saying,
sponsor
um,
green
it was in
dance.
Japanese. So,
My
but he was saying like, "No,
sponsor
no, no, no,
green
I'm not
dance.
okay. The inside is not
I
okay."
show.
He
Yeah,
was
yes,
trying
yes.
to he was trying to
I-
communicate that like,
I
I'm fine
show.
physically, the inside is not okay.
I got
And
the show.
the company gave him like sort of a
Look
break,
at my
but
sponsor
it,
hat. Look at
he
my
was off for about
sponsor.
like 2 months or
Bundle
something.
dingle
They tried to give him
bike.
like an office desk job, help around in the office. But he
Yeah.
was supposed to be in schools. But at the end of his contract, they were just like, "Oh, we just don't have anything for you here." You just have to get better. And it was like really, I don't know if they turned him away, but I think he was. I think it worked out fine because he went to Tokyo
I miss
because they didn't give him a contract around here, so he went to Tokyo.
Hi.
Yeah.
And I guess he found some new friends there and he's fine now.
Hi.
And actually, it was his birthday yesterday. I
You
greeted him a
go
happy birthday, and I think he's doing quite well. Like actually, so yeah, it all worked out for him.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, hey, I totally get what you're talking about, Ice, where the body just gives in, you know. Like my dad, he suffered a series of strokes, and he lives, he lives a sedentary lifestyle. He loves to read. There's these are the people that keep me sane, you know. David, get yours now. But wait, if you get Raj, you get this free. But you gotta order now. I mean, I'm not. It's not for everyone. All right. Iceman himself. You know, we would talk about like, don't have kids, don't have kids, because it can also put you in a difficult mental state because of. I mean, if you're already having, if you're already shitting bricks, just dealing with your own issues, just imagine having that responsibility of a human life. You know, that you'll be shitting like triple bricks. You know what I'm saying? So it's not for everybody, and it certainly isn't until you're in that situation, and that's when you know. Like that's when you separate the men from the boys. You know, we're not great dads for sure. Ice, you know, has a temper of a, you know, of a. Of the Incredible Hulk, on steroids. Like literally,
go crazy. I go
like
crazy.
his daughter would splash like a cup of water on him. It'll freak out. I mean, I'm literally freaking out. Nobody's even tossing a drop of water at me, and I'm freaking out. And you know, we're not perfect parents, dude. We don't have diplomacy skills with our children. We're not the kind of chill dads. We're very vocal. We yell at them. It's a common thing. I mean, my son Raj can attest to that. And it's probably a form of child abuse in some countries, but in all honesty, you roll with the punches, and they roll with the punches too, right?
But then, okay, I didn't see the name. Johnny Pampa over here just like pointed it out that it's about my daughter, like the thing that I was going through like a couple of weeks ago that we talked about.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
about my job mainly. He nailed it when he said, "Isn't it about your daughter that you're worried about your daughter?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And you just brought up a really good point where my daughter, like me, I have a temper, and my daughter got that too. Now we're two just crazy people shouting at each other, and she's an 8-year old kid, and I'm like a 44-year-old grown man, and we're shouting at each other. But then we just end up like after these, like exchange, we would just like end up like laughing.
to
That I've
BFFs.
been, yeah. No, like literally, we're like shouting, like, "Yeah, you motherfucker!" Like, "Yeah, you're the motherfucking shit!" And then we just like end up like laughing after a few
Uh-huh.
seconds because that's how we are and that's how who we are. So
Yeah,
I've been reminding her, do not do this to your mom because your mom can't take this.
I
She'll
say
get
the
mad
same
at you.
thing. I say the same
She'll
thing to
snap at
Raj.
you, and she will like discipline you. And with me, I just end up laughing at you because like I say something like I curse, she
Because you
curses.
understand her the way your wife can't. And it's same thing with Raj. Raj has like this behavior, like he can be like a biatch, you know, and I'm kind of like that. Like we kind of like have this, you know, we don't work hard, we work smart kind of thing. And
Right.
and my wife works hard. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't take shortcuts in life. She's not
Oh
relying on luck.
man, yeah.
She's not
We're
relying
cut
on
from the same
luck.
cloth. Holy shit.
She's not relying on inheritance. She's not relying on the sweepstakes, you know, or the lottery or anything. She works hard, and Raj and myself were like, you know, lying on the sofa and like chilling and just like, hey, you know, we're cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like we tend to get away with so much, and I tell my son, you know, hey, you cannot. You can't force that down your mom's throat. She's not programmed that way, you know. So if she reacts to certain things we do or don't do when we procrastinate, you have to respect that because that's where she's coming from. So we sort of just have to meet each other halfway, and that's why I tell Raj these things. I give him pointers because sometimes he'll talk back to his mom, or he doesn't understand his mom, or his mom will give him a lecture and he'll have his attitude. And I'm like, you know, it's like, no, that's not how you deal with it. You just have to apologize, and you just have to say, okay, mom, next time, because she's not gonna want you to talk back. Because if you talk back, then she's gonna blame that on me, because
Right.
because they didn't talk back when they were
All
kids
right.
to their
Okay.
parents,
Now we ended
right?
up talking about our kids. It's so unfair to Johnny Pampa over here. Okay, Johnny, here's the thing. Is
Yeah,
this
don't have
talking
kids.
about? Yeah, that's the bottom line. Don't have kids. Okay,
You're a
because
kid.
we were talking about like this is your issue, but this is not about
What's the issue?
relationships, right?
What's the issue? What's the
It's
issue?
not really about
Johnny,
like a girl, right? It's not
what's
it's
going
not about a
on?
girl, right?
I mean, no, and it's not really about a girl. It's like there are certain like I said like what are the problems that made me write that post. Like for example, like there's some things that I can't really share because it's like super personal, and the others is like realization that fuck I just fucked up all the hard work that I did and then I just fucked it up. An example is I just realized that fuck I worked out so hard to lose the amount of weight that I lost, and now I just regained it because of coping mechanism. But I wouldn't really like at the same time I would ask like, is this really coping mechanism that I'm doing, or am I just destroying myself because I
No, you're
got
not destroying
disappointed in
because
myself?
maybe because you know what, our weight it fluctuates, right? Sometimes we lose them, sometimes we gain them, but maybe right now the best form for you is what you have right now. Because okay, here's what I realize: some people will be like, "Oh, I really have to be busy so that I'm productive, to feel productive." But it's not. It's actually not that. I read a book one time that says maybe the most productive thing for you right now is to be not doing anything. Like if you're just like sitting down watching TV and you feel like am I doing something productive? But maybe that's the most productive thing right now. You don't have to be stressing out on anything because maybe time will come that you won't have that time anymore. You can't be sitting down anymore. You can't be watching TV anymore because there are other things that you needed, like that you would need to do in the future. So at certain times there are things that it might just be the perfect time to be it. So you lost that weight and you did that already. So that means it's not impossible for you to go back to that and do it. It's like you're just like, all right, what did you do to get to that place? And you'd be like, all right, I'll do it all over again. Then maybe if you're like actors, man, they get like really ripped, right? Then all of a sudden after the movie, they'd go back to their dad bods.
Yeah, like
That's
Leonardo
perfectly
DiCaprio.
fine,
Like Leonardo
right?
DiCaprio, he doesn't like even have to work out. I mean, if you saw what's his name, the Batman guy before Edward Cullen, before what's his name,
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, right? In the
Right.
is it the Machinist? Or one of these movies where he was really like super thin and
Yeah, the
stuff, and
machinist. Yeah, the
yeah,
machinist.
I mean, these guys are method actors, but I agree with Ice. You know what he's saying is, you've reached that peak, and now you're back. But the bottom line here is that's why I don't believe in diets and the gym and all that stuff. I've given up on it. I used to. I used to think that, and my dream was always to get a six pack and all that. But you know what? I've accepted the fact that it's not in my genes. It's not in my body shape. It's not, and if it's not sustainable, if it's not something I can maintain as a lifestyle for like a good duration of my life, I might as well not start it because it's just going to be a yo-yo thing. Like, oh, I did fasting. Dude, I didn't eat rice for 3 years. I did fasting. I lost so much weight. I did juicing. I like crap water. It's like I went through that stuff. But none of them lasted long enough for me to be able to live a comfortable life and be happy and be contented and say, that's why I see a lot of friends, when you see them on Facebook, they're working out, they're in the gym, they're into a new activity or sport, they're really into it. I mean, God bless them. I wish them all the luck. But I also have this pessimistic side to me saying, well, that's not going to last. I'm pretty sure it's a phase they're going through. And, because you have to think, whenever you do something, yeah, there has to be an inspiration for it. There has to be a purpose for it. And when you're an actor and you're getting paid millions, that's of course you're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? You're inspired to do it. You wake up in the morning, just like boxing. Yeah, of course I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna train to be the best because I'm gonna have a $20 million fight with Jake Paul or whoever the heck it is, right? But with you, it's like you're doing it for yourself, right? And you're doing it for yourself. So you want to make yourself happy by being healthy and looking at yourself with all that lost weight and you're in shape and you feel good. But at the same time, you're also depriving yourself of another aspect of your happiness, which is eating good food, which is also a part of you, which also
Plus, you're in
brings you,
Italy.
which
You're in
also,
Italy. There's
exactly,
a lot of things to
which
enjoy there. A lot of food to
which
taste.
brings you joy. You know what I'm saying? It's like Iceman. He's in a first world country. He's earning a buttload of money. Well, obviously quadruple, tenfold of what he was making here.
I am not earning a buttload of money.
Well, compared to what
If I was, I would have been.
compared to what he was making here. All right, let's just put it that way.
Okay.
But at the same time, he's happy because he's
I'm
attained that.
slaving, man. I'm
He's,
slaving.
he's happy because he's at that state where he's literally rolling in money. Which back in the day he'd probably have 100 pesos in his wallet and Nixon will borrow it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, and now I gotta give it to Nixon. But now he can literally, like, if he wanted to, withdraw his money, put it in the bed, like roll in it, and whatever. Even if he's, I don't know if he secretly does it, but at the same time, that part of happiness he's achieved. But there's also a part where he's like, damn, I miss the Philippines. I miss socializing with my friends. So you just have to kind of find that balance where, which is your situation. And you're thinking about your weight loss. You feel bad about it. But at the same time, dude, you're eating good food now. You gained the weight, but you didn't gain weight like it just happened magically. You gained weight because you also gave in to, your indulgences. Okay.
Plus, I think you just you just came home, right? You just came home, right? You just
Yeah,
went
you
home to
just
the
came home.
Philippines. All right.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
went.
that happens too. If you go home, you see your friends, you forget about everything. You drink,
Yes!
that's what I did. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna grade. Like you know what? I've accepted that every time I go home, especially if it's like a short, like okay, those times when I have to be there for about 2-3 months, those were the times that I could like, all right, I'm going to the gym. I can, I did that. But then there were times that I would go home for about a week or two. Dude, there's no gym happening. There's always like eating, hanging out with friends.
But I know you,
sleeping
Ice.
late.
I know you, Ice.
What?
Weeks leading to your trip home, he's working out. He's like, you can hear the Rocky music, like, yeah,
The
he's like,
montage.
yeah,
The
montage,
montage
the
routine.
montage. Yeah, he's like, Drago. I mean, he's getting ready. He's getting ready because he knows action is awaiting him. I know this guy. I know it. So when he comes home, he's in freaking tip-top shape.
You know what? That's on the spec. You know what? Yeah, you're right. At some point that happened. That happened. You know what, Johnny Pampa? I miss those times. I'm disappointed in myself because I can't do that anymore. There's no more 3 months break. There's no more like getting in shape because of this action, right? Like there's nothing like that now. It's like I'm gonna get this job. I will be there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that is, man, I've been dealing with kids for the whole day. And I have to worry about like what they have like short attention span. I have to have the right lesson or else somebody will start crying and somebody might not like it. And I have to like, hey, you can't get mad at these kids. They're
But
doing
that's a
shit.
good problem to have, Ice. That's a good problem to have. Would you rather
That's what
do
I said to
that?
myself.
Would you rather do that or be screwing nuts and bolts at digital cameras in a factory all day? Right?
Here's the thing.
That's
I
a
have
good
to be
problem to have.
That's what I'm saying. I'm convinced. See, it's so hard. See, you are in a situation where I'm back to like talking to myself. I'm back to that. Like I haven't done that in a long time. And now I find myself walking around the supermarket talking to myself, like literally talking to myself out loud. Like so, see, it's hard to be talking to yourself in your head. It's easier for me to be talking to myself out loud. Like I would say something and I would answer like whatever that statement was.
That's fine.
I
You're
would
not
ask
crazy.
a question and like I'm not.
I do
yeah, I
that.
know, but then people would think I am crazy.
Yeah,
Because
it's
this
true.
is something like of a big change. Last 15 years, I've been doing like it's a light job because I'm more of like an assistant.
So you talk
I
to
will be the
yourself
main-
as like preparation for work? Is that what you're saying? Like you're
No, it's not even that. It's like convincing yourself that it's gonna be fine.
okay.
Convincing yourself that you made the right decision. It's like I'm saying, like it's not like you have minokamo. Like I do this literally. Like this is what I'm doing. I'm walking and shopping. I'm like talking to myself, like it's not like you have minokamo, all right? So you have to deal with that shit. You can't be like what?
So
You go
so
to
are,
the gym,
are you
like,
having
oh,
jitters?
this.
Are you having like first day
Yeah.
jitters? It's like your first day at school. Like you're transferring or shifting or
Dude, I
or
still can't let go. I still can't let go. I love what I do right now. It's like it's not as bad as leaving the radio job, but it's close to that. Because see, like what you said, I can be a really hard worker because I did that. Like I can be. If I'm in the zone, I can be. Right? I know I can. But it's more of like I'm that type of guy too. Like, hey, do you want to like do this type of thing? Like, do you really want to work hard or do you want to chill? I'm like, yeah, I can chill. And people will be like, oh, I feel so, I feel so useless. I never felt that. Like, no, I'm like, if I have them, I get some money. I no, I'm like, I'm
Is
fine.
is the workload heavier, or it's just that the unfamiliarity with the new environment and the people you'll be
It's
working
probably,
with,
well,
the
it could be
adjustment,
that.
that's more the
It could
fear
be
than
that.
than
It
the
could be that.
workload, right?
It could be that because I love kids. I literally love kids. Like, I don't have problem with kids.
But he
Like,
advises people to
especially,
not have children. You know?
yeah. I mean, no, I'm talking about like not my own
Yes, I know, not your own kids, because you can
like
throw them
not
back.
my
You
kids.
can throw them
Yeah.
back when you...
I mean, I love kids because I don't have to deal with them at home. Like, if I have to deal with them in school, it's fine because they're not like, I don't have to really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're
Yeah.
a teacher, but this time around, it's okay. Here's the thing: I have to get mad at the kids, not mad, but I have to discipline them.
Yes, yes.
I have to teach them right, like manners and whatnot. Now I'm more of an assistant, so that doesn't really fall on my shoulders. But this time, starting April, I have to be serious with these kids. I can't be just laughing with them, If they're doing something bad, I have to like stop the class and like, "Hey dude, what are you doing? You can't be doing this. You can't be pushing your classmates around. You can't be like not listening. You have to do what
Are
what we're
Japanese
supposed to be
kids
doing."
more sensitive, or are
Dude,
they
they're
like...
kids. It doesn't matter if they're Japanese or Filipino, they're kids. You know how
so
kids are.
so they're
They're
not like, they don't care?
they no, they can be obnoxious. Like my daughter's like she's obnoxious. Like like same with the other kids.
Yeah, I got you. I
They're all
got you. Okay, so
obnoxious.
they're not sensitive.
No, well, they are like it then that would fall on your shoulders. Like my wife has been telling me they will be who you are. So if you are this, like cool dude, and like like if you know how to balance, and they will be like those kids.
But the hardest thing about kids, though, is that they all have different temperaments. Like maybe
Exactly.
to one kid, if you're this way, they will respect you and admire you, and then the
Exactly.
other kids will be
You have a
like,
point.
they will
That
disrespect
is
you because
true.
you know what I'm saying. It's like,
So you see what I'm facing now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got
You
you.
see what I'm facing now.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's deal with David for a bit here, because I know you have your own stress. I'm currently at a stage where I'm decluttering both material things and maybe emotional things. I'm not unfriending people on Facebook or anything like that. It's more of like it's more of just decluttering, because like I know I have my kids and they're already a handful, so I'm trying. That's why whenever an opportunity arises where, like, my wife's doing kickboxing, right? She bakes and she does kickboxing, and she's like, "Babe, join me with kickboxing. Let's have like home sessions. Let's have the trainer come." And I'm like, "Oh crap, like I don't really need that right now." You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as I want to work out and stuff, I don't want the guy to show up and him to tell, and for me to just tell him, "Oh, like, bante po bata ba eh, yo sa?" You know what I'm saying? It's like I just kind of have to make sure that, 'cause my aunt's here. She was just arrived from Vietnam. She's gonna be back in Davao, so I'm gonna have to show her around before she goes back to the States. So I'm just kind of, I really, as you get older, that those quotes that you read, where as I get older, my circle becomes smaller, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I start to not give a shit about the other things. Blah blah. That's so true, and that's so applicable to me. And I'm sure it's applicable to a lot of us. And with you, your situation. How old are you, David?
29.
Okay, what keeps you, like, okay, what's your career path? Like, I know you graduated and you treated yourself to like a trip around Europe or the world, and I know you're a football fan and all that good stuff. But what is your career path? Are you on a career path right now, or are you testing things out and seeing which one
Just
falls into place?
to be honest, just testing the waters. And like, for if you guys obviously in the audience who don't know, I work as an admin for a group of restaurants under the same owner. And how do you say this? I
And
got
you had your practice here, right? Didn't you work for like Mama Maria's or something?
Mama,
Here?
yeah,
Didn't you?
yeah,
Yeah,
Mama
you did
Mia,
that,
yeah,
right?
in the restaurant.
So was
Yeah, yeah,
that
I
was
did.
that like your practicum, sort of? Was that your like?
No, I was like hired for a few months there, and then I got let go for circumstances I can't reveal. Obviously, it was a misunderstanding at the end of the day.
You stole
And
a slice of pizza, huh?
That
They're
was
like,
every day. Every day
kumain ka
naman
ng
yan.
pizza,
Every
no?
day.
Wala man, wala man. Just like a pepperoni here.
And then all the tomato sauce. Say, wala man. No, no, no,
Okay.
no, no.
All right. So you love that. I mean, you did have that experience, and it didn't end well, or maybe it did. I don't know. But now you're still in that situation where you're an admin. Is that an industry that you
It's
want to be a part of for a long term? The food industry, the food service industry,
I
or
mean,
you're
with
just
like
winging it?
with regards, yeah, I'm just winging it, to be honest. Like I'm just winging it. Like the fact that I'm an admin, right? But like my department in the admin the most is the how do you say this? It's the part that I didn't even expect to be in that. I mean the
Yeah,
acquisition and accounting department. Accounting, and I'm a
that's where
mass
you
comm,
are.
and I'm
That's
a
where you
mass comm
are.
graduate.
Okay.
Yes, that's where I am.
Okay, but was this your choice, or was this like somebody like referred you to something and you like tried it and it ended up becoming your career, or
Yeah,
for now at
yeah,
least?
that one. Yeah,
Okay,
for
but
now.
given if you had your choice, because I mean, here's the thing, right? We all like Ice and myself. I think well, Ice is not really accidental because he really pursued being a radio guy, but career wise, he's a marketing graduate. He was a teacher for a while. I mean, if you talk about like real jobs or a real career, Iceman has his options, right? And because if he had known that he would just pursue radio, he probably would have taken up masscom or whatever. That would have kind of helped him out a little bit more in terms of the preparation for the work, nature of the work. But we're both kind of accidental in the sense where we ended up in careers that we didn't really prep for. He's just
Yeah,
passionate about
exactly.
radio. For
Exactly.
Ice, it's more of for Ice, it wasn't really more of like a career for him because he loved it so much. His was probably like it's something I would do even if I wasn't paid. Because a career is usually something where you have to be paid to do it, meaning you don't 100% love it because you have to be paid. You have to be bribed to do it. But a passion thing is something you would do even if you were not being paid. Like for me, drawing. I love to draw. Art is my thing. I do it even if no one's paying me. I would play video games all day even if no one's paying me. I pay people to let me play video games. So that yes, hold on.
Can you charge my phone? It's no bad.
Did you just put it there? So, anyways, yeah.
Shout out Raj.
So what I'm saying here is for you, it's like I fell into radio by accident, and I did not know that I was going to be in that industry for almost 20 years and have lifelong friends like Iceman and Joe and your Tito Mao, obviously. But the thing is, my advice to you is don't be afraid of accidents to happen in your life because the ones that were referred to me and the ones that I had connections with, like my mom hooked me up with some titas who owned a company and I worked there for a while and I didn't like it. Those are the ones that sort of didn't work out for me. The ones that kind of just like, nah, okay, I'll try this. I'll submit a voice tape. The ones that I didn't really take seriously and the ones that I just thought I'll just like wing it. It ended up being the one that was most transformative to me in my lifetime. In terms of the work, the career, and what I've established as a radio guy. And I'm still doing it. And Ice and I were still doing it. This all stemmed from radio, man. So, and I don't have a mass comm background. I have a management background. And I'm not even a management guy. I'm not a salesman. I'm an artist. I draw. I play the guitar. I'm a creative dude. So I ended up in radio. And it's these accidental things that happen in your life, much like the people that you meet that you end up marrying or something. And the lifelong friends that you ended up having, but not necessarily the kids you grew up with. That's kind of like, those are the things for me, I think, in life that will surprise you. And you having all the opportunity presented before you in different forms because you live in Italy, you travel to Europe, you have friends from all walks of life, you're part of ISAC, and you have all these friends, and you get to travel and all that stuff. And, you basically, the world is your oyster. But at the same time, I'm not saying you're limiting yourself to like a situation where, because that was what was handed to you, that's what you're going to be doing, because you might get stuck in that. And while you're stuck in one thing, you're depriving yourself of another that might be waiting for you that you might find more joy in. So I'm not discouraging you from your career. But what I'm saying is you can't multitask in life, especially career. Love life, kaya niyan. Ask Iceman. But I mean, my career, you can't multitask that. It's tough. Iceman did that too. He was a med rep and a DJ. But that took its toll on him. So I know that for a fact I can't multitask. So my question to you is, if you're doing this admin guy in accounting or whatever, if you're finding joy in it and you wake up in the morning and you kind of like look forward to it, like Ice and I did with our board time, then you're blessed. Then by all means continue that, because if you can picture yourself doing that until you're 40, then so be it. But if it's something that's temporary already in your mind, you're already thinking about a career change a year from now or something, then by all means, you know, dude, give yourself the opportunity to have these accidental encounters where, because I see you, you're a very vocal dude. You know, you have a big voice, you have a big presence, you're a people person, you wear your heart on your sleeve. Dude, you know, you live in the world of social media. You are at that age to be doing it. I mean, look at this Jake Paul, Logan Paul guys running circles around these boxing dudes that have been doing it for so long. And they, you know, and all they did was use social media and their popularity as YouTube stars. And now they're like, we're talking about them more than Bob Arum, you know, because they're young and they're using, and, you know, even if Bob Arum did social media, nobody would subscribe to him. He's like 90, you know? So what I'm saying is the opportunities for you are boundless. For Ice and I, we actually feel like if we pursued it, we might look like a couple of old farts trying to squeeze ourselves in a generation that's we've been way past, you know, the generation that we're supposed to be in. Whereas with you, you're perfect for it. So you did the podcast thing with, right? With,
Man, you're so young.
he's young.
29. 29 was the time when I left the vow. That was the time when I left the vow. 29.
Wow, you left Davao at 29.
Yes, I left the vow
What?
at 29. And now I'm 44. I'm like, where did all those years go, man? Where did all those years go? And it's just that, like, now before I would see, like, you know, you were very young at that time. I think you would visit your uncle there, and you were very young.
Yeah,
And
that was
now
ano pa, Guerrero days.
Right?
Okay.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's been like you still have a lot of things to a lot of things to see, a lot of things to experience, a lot of things to eat. All right,
A lot of
things to-
a lot of women to bang.
yeah, yeah, that too. That's
Dude,
that's a given.
dude,
That's a given.
dude. At the end of the day, that's the purpose. That's the ultimate purpose in life. You want a nice car, so you can bang a girl. You want to look good, so you can bang a girl. You want to get paid a lot, so you can bang a girl. At the end of the day, you can beat around the bush. At the end of the day, you just want to beat on that bush. You know what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, that's what that's about. Unless you're impotent or you don't like women. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, that's the purpose. I never wanted to impress guys, to be honest. That's why I don't care about basketball. I'm bakikaw when I play basketball. I never pursued playing good at basketball.
This is why Rod gets into trouble with the program director, because he always, like, I didn't even mean to, like, put, like, to have the women in the conversation.
No, but it, no, but
He
it,
would always like, oh, you have a lot of women to bang. I'm like, all right,
Okay.
where did that come from?
well, he's 29, so making love doesn't sound right yet for his age. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, Ice.
Yeah,
What, and who were you doing at 29?
No, okay. Here's the thing. Oh, I'm trying to like relate to Johnny Pampa here, because he's in Italy. It's it's a strange country. Like me, I look back 15 years after I left. I'm like, wow. I mean, I left a long time ago, and it's like I don't even know what the vow is like right now, or what. I'm
It's
thinking, like,
different.
okay, a lot of people also left. All right. I mean, Turi is now in Manila. Cindy went to Manila. All right, and like even Marvin is based in Manila.
Yeah.
Right. And my friends, they have their own families. They don't even see each other that often.
No, they don't. I see
you
your
left
friends.
the
I see your friends more than they see each other.
I think so. You
I
left
see
the
them like
radio.
like
Alright.
separately. Yeah.
Joe, Chuck, they're in a different radio station. It's a totally
Yes.
different ballgame.
Billy Kane like
And
owns a bank now.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a banker.
Yeah.
So a lot of things have changed. But if I look at my life, I would always look back at that particular chapter as the most enjoyable and the most fun. It's
I
like,
agree.
wow. I
I
mean,
agree.
that was my time.
No offense to my
And
college friends, but that radio life, that's tough to top.
it's, dude,
It's
like,
tough to
yeah, it's
top.
tough to
It's tough
beat.
to top. Yeah.
It's really that I look back and I'm like, I came here, and the moment I hugged my wife, the very first words that I said to her was like, I missed all of them in Davao, and she was
She
heartbroken.
understood, but she understood.
Yeah, but she was heartbroken. She didn't tell me that years after, you know. I mean, she was so
Okay,
understanding,
I
but she
get it.
told me that she was really disappointed that those were my very first words. Instead of being like, "Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you," you know. What I said was like, "Oh, I miss the vow. I miss everybody there." And I was so selfish because I was thinking that, well, it's a given that I love you, and that's why I left the whole, the whole radio thing and everybody, my family, my friends. I
But you
left
were being
all of them for
honest.
you.
But you were
Yeah,
being
but I was being
honest.
honest too.
You were
But
being honest.
then with Johnny here, who doesn't,
Did
like,
you?
he's not
But
Yeah,
even.
I did.
I mean,
That
he has
one.
his reasons
We slept
why
without
he,
it.
you
he
didn't
decided to
wash
go
it.
to
We did.
Italy, and I mean,
Can you change
you
your
all you need to
shorts
do
to
right
that one?
now is just like,
And
set
wash
your
your hands.
You also
perspective,
wash your
Yeah, and wash
like,
your hands
try
with
to
soap.
come to terms with whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, and just just take it one day at a time. That,
Yeah.
things are sometimes they are because it's just meant to be that way, and you can change it from time to time. Like for example, like specifically, like you were talking about your weight, right? Like, oh, you work so hard, then you gain a lot of weight, but then it's like, again, it's just like, well, it's not like you didn't have fun eating those food.
Yeah, I know.
You had fun, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not like you have a body condition where like the hyperthyroidism or something where you just get big for no
right.
reason. You
if
ate,
you
dude.
enjoyed every if you enjoyed every bit of that freaking food that you put in your mouth,
that that
that
that
made it
that's
worth
see
worth it.
that's there's an issue where some people I think bulimic or the anorexic's different from bulimic I think are the ones that throw up, so they love the taste of food, so they'll eat but then they'll hide, go to the toilet and throw up, because they feel guilty about the weight and the calories they've gained. And I think at one time I did that, but I wasn't bulimic. It was more of like I just ate too much and I had to throw up. Kundi, empacho ako, heartburn, you know what I'm saying? But some people, it's like they love the taste of food. So I know people who say, oh, you know what I do? I just chew the food, but I don't swallow. Like I don't know if it was some rapper who said that or whatever. Like what's his trick for like staying fit? And he said, I chew the food, but I don't swallow. Like he'll chew it, he'll get the taste out of it and spit it out like it's chewing gum or something. Now I don't know what's up with that, if that's advisable or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, you are who you are, man. You just have to find balance, right? You just have to find balance. Iceman, he'll talk about the stress of work, the stress. But you know what? At the end of the day, if he wasn't working, he will go nuts. Whereas if I wasn't working, I'm like happy, I'm normal. But with Ice, if he wasn't working, he will go nuts.
Probably
Because,
because my sister was saying that she's happy that I found this new job because it would be very good for my mental health. Because
yes,
I've I'm so relaxed in my current job that I think about, like, oh, maybe I have cancer, or I have, like, whatever.
but this one, you won't have time to think.
I know that's what she said. Like, because you're always thinking about so many things that don't mean anything. Like, you
Exactly.
always think you're sick, that you have, like,
So you
whatever,
need
that
this.
you have
No,
kidney
because like
problems.
you know what, because I'm also visiting a therapist, because a lot of people suggested it and it was a great idea. Thanks for those who suggested it to me. And she said the same thing you guys said. It's like I'm a guy who either doesn't do shit or does go all out, and I
Yeah.
can't find that
Middle
middle
ground.
thing,
Yeah.
that
You're not
middle ground.
bipolar. You're not diagnosed bipolar or anything, right?
No,
Are you?
hindi
Okay.
naman, hindi naman. Good thing. Oh
Okay.
my God, hindi naman.
No, because
So,
like, I know people who are.
Yeah, because sometimes I think I'm bipolar. So I'm not. I've never been diagnosed, but I do think that, like, my wife would call me bipolar. Because one
You
day it's
freak
like,
out, you freak out.
and then, like, you're just like, what the hell's wrong with you? But I don't know. But yeah, okay.
No, no, no. I don't
Find
think
the
you
middle
are.
ground.
I know bipolar people. They're mostly women. Nothing against women, but they're mostly women that I know,
All
and they're
right. Okay.
diagnosed as
All
bipolar,
right. Well,
and I know the
I'm gonna take
difference.
your word. All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So
So
we,
you were
yeah.
saying you can't find a middle ground. So all
I
right,
can't
continue,
find the
please.
middle ground, and I have this great difficulty because, like, for example, I'm like also you a bit It's like if I don't like for now, I'm being Rod Rodriguez like type of mode. It's like I'm happy if I don't do shit. But
Yeah.
Right.
there's also a time that if I don't do shit, I go crazy because I need to be productive. Because if I don't do
Yeah.
shit,
You need to
like
preoccupy yourself.
I need to preoccupy myself because if not, the other thing I can do is just eat because it's either I eat because I'm hungry or I eat because I'm fucking bored and I have
Yes,
nothing to
yes.
do
Right.
Yes.
right now. So it's like parang
Yeah.
anong gagawin ko? And then good thing my colleagues, bless them. That's why I'm still in this job. It's because like even the Suns owner said, "Hey, Tav, like don't stress yourself too much." It's like you've been like busting your ass off and like that because to be honest I bust my ass off because of the Filipino way of doing things that we go like sometimes we tend to exaggerate with the workload even though we're not supposed to do that certain workload. It's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, I think it's embedded in us lang na parang ano lang talaga tiyaga. It's like we're literally a hardworking people
And
and
no
it's like
there's no clear definition of what your work assignment is or what your designation is here in the Philippines, right? Like the security guard will be holding the bills of the water. I mean, he's a security guard. He's supposed to be guarding the bank, but he's also the one telling the people to give their priority numbers. And they're, you know what I'm saying? And I think we're used to that. It's like in other countries, pag security guard ka, yun lang trabaho mo. But in the
yeah, exactly.
Philippines, we do everything,
No,
right?
exactly. It's like even my colleagues would say, Dove, don't do this. You're supposed to only do that. Don't do the other
Yes.
thing because if you do the other thing, then you have the right to ask for more pay. And then I was like,
Yes.
oh nga no, oh nga no, oh nga no. So it's like right now, we're opening other two restaurants, right? And if you're going to ask me to handle other two restaurants, because I'm handling three restaurants, I'm handling three. If they ask me to handle other two, I said, I'm sorry, I need a raise. I need
Of
a raise.
course.
I need a raise. And that's also the problem then with the Philippines. It's like parang we're used to the fact that we're doing stuff that we're not supposed to even do
Yeah.
and we're not getting paid for it. Pero we're just like, okay lang because like, it's like paminsan like hugas ng plato, linis ng ganyan, and we're all, how do you say this, multitasking at the same time. So we're
Yeah.
used to that kind of teachings. Pero pagdating sa work, we do the same thing, multitasking. But in reality, we're not supposed to multitask. We're supposed to do only that task
Yes.
in hand.
Yes.
Kaya
Yes.
nga na parang I'm going too all out and I need to balance it just in the middle ground. It's like parang Italy taught me na parang, hey, wait, I'm not getting paid for things that I do extra. You know what? I'm not gonna do them. Bahala kayo. You're not paying me to do this. I'm not gonna do that. Parang, like, the Filipino me is like, come on, Dav, do it for them. And then at the same time, my other part is like, nope, don't do it. They're not gonna pay you for it. So
But
what's the
you know
point?
what? You know what? That mentality, it works in a first world country, and that's mostly how it is. Like, you can actually complain. You can file a complaint with HR or whatever if you're given work that you're not supposed to or it's not part of your job designation.
Exactly.
But at the same time, in the Philippines, we really can't complain because we all feel like we're expendable, like we can be replaced. Like everybody here, there's always somebody willing to take lesser pay for more work. So because that's just how difficult the employment situation here is in the Philippines. Everyone's always waiting to take your spot, and they don't value talent. They only go after hard work. Philippines is about the hardest worker who will accept the least pay. It's never about the most talented. It's never about the one who has the most potential. It's never about the one that can bring in the most for the company or the growth of the corporation or the business. The employers here don't think about that shit. They think about, it's like, I mean, even call centers, and I'm not dissing the call center agents, but the
Yeah,
quality of the
been
call
there,
center
done that.
agents, the quality of the call center agents have gone down seriously because they're just hiring who's passable, who can communicate at the probably most minimalist level because they feel like they can just train this person and that person they will just pay peanuts, and once that person starts demanding more they'll hire another, and it's like, and we that mindset has been embedded in us, so we feel like, oh shit, I'm not gonna complain, I'm gonna be replaced. There's always another guy here who wants to be a DJ. Then I felt that, I mean, not dissing my previous employer, but I felt that, I felt like, how can you just replace a guy who's been in the industry for like what 16, 17 years, who's invested how many years of his life, and you've developed him into this talent. And how can you just replace him without even giving a counter offer, or without even telling him that, hey, we value you, maybe you think twice about leaving, maybe you're worth this much. No, it just doesn't work that way here. People will be just like, they're willing to take a new guy, throw him in there into the fire, and think that he's gonna create the same results. And you know what?
And
You know,
that's the sad situation thing. It's like, yes, I know that what I have right now is a first world thing, that you have rights as a worker, fine, but and all, because I also worked in the call center back in SM Ecoland. At least I got the experience out of it and all. And you're right. Yes, they treat you. You're expendable. They treat you just like a number. It's like, okay, he doesn't want here. Okay, next one. Parang ganyan. Pero I'm not
yeah.
saying na parang okay. That's how it is in the Philippines. Obviously, Filipinos deserve better. Like, I'm not gonna go all deep in politics and all that bullshit like that. But it's like, I'm just
Dude,
saying in
ang
general.
daming college graduates dito. That's the thing. Ang daming college graduates. That's why you have a lot of college graduates who have no jobs and unemployed or getting peanuts. Because a diploma here doesn't have the same value as it is in the States. In the
Yeah,
States, high
true.
school graduates have real jobs. And people who can only afford college because of the expensive tuition there, they have to take in a college loan and all that shit. And they have to pay for that for almost the rest of their life.
Or either that, or you're an athlete, because
That's
athlete gets
or an
scholarship.
athlete, you get scholarship. That's right. That's right. That's why there's a lot of sports is a big thing in America. Or talent. People were skilled. The skilled workers. That's what I'm saying. It's like in the Philippines, you can't brag about a diploma because the guy next to you probably has a master's degree and he's unemployed. Whereas in the States, that's unheard of. Not very many people there have a PhD. Not very many people there are graduate. My sister graduated at a community. One of my sisters graduated at a community college, but that's a big deal already. But a community college is looked down upon. It's not a university. It's not a big school, but she graduated from there, and she's now like running a school. And my other sister went to a big school. She made the loan. She paid for it for for a good duration of her employment life. But she has just living a good life. She owns a boat. She lives in a beach house. She's rich as heck. But because they're one of the few who graduated from big schools and have that. But in the Philippines, it doesn't guarantee. That's why we're gearing towards. You see how this is my advice to you too, and most of the young ones out there. You see how the world is going towards in the career path. It's more about there's more premium in talent now. There's more premium in what I'm saying in talent in the performing arts rather than the typical desk job of like, okay, this is my degree, unless you're an engineer, unless you're a lawyer, unless you're one of these top career guys. But if it's like a typical, like, you graduated commerce, whatever, I mean, you're going to be a supervisor at McDonald's for a good 10, 15 years of your life, and still not be able to buy a car after that. But most of the career path now is gearing towards those who have talent in the arts and all that, and there's more value in it now because of social media, because of how the advertising world works now. They're not relying on the TV and the tri-media companies to promote their products. You can actually be a YouTube star and start to be an endorser, and all that stuff. So you have those options, Gab. And Dab. And the
Dab.
thing is, yeah, I'm thinking Gab. But the thing is, since you have those options too, it's harder for you to make that choice because you're comparing yourself to other people who are overnight successes, and there's frustration in that. Like Ice and I have been doing this podcasting for how many years now, Ice?
Two
I
years,
think
three
this is
years na
the second year.
yata.
I think,
Yeah, we still have only 3 viewers. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're not doing it for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're doing it for ourselves. But for you, if you're going to be doing something, then do it for yourself. But at the same time, maximize your talent. And I applaud you, man. I see you and you share your football. How you're getting all this exposure for your passion for football. You're becoming like a source speaker now for Philippine football. You become the authority for that. Now, why don't you make a career out of that? it's a niche thing. You'd be the only guy to be doing it, I think, to be
No,
honest.
yeah, I mean, because like with regards to the community and all of that, because like I said, with what I also have like my own show with other guys talking about Philippine football, and I'm just fortunate enough to, how do you say, even be interviewed by TV Patrol about football out of all
Can't you get
the sources, di
sponsorships?
ba?
Can't you get sponsorships for your show?
I mean, the amount of letters we did to get sponsorships, eh, eh, like all X's, but we're still trying. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. I'm also trying to, like, motivate also yung colleagues ko, because I'm the only one out of the three of us that's like doesn't have a kid, because the other two have a kid, and one is also my age, has a kid already, and like that. And so I understand what they're going through with other priorities and like that. And then I would say that I'm keeping the show afloat, because like, again, I don't have these priorities, and I understand that these two colleagues of mine have the same priorities as you guys, that you guys are dads and all of that. And like, for example, great last week I've been to Spain. I went to Spain to watch the women's team play in Spain. And even the general manager, the whole Philippine Football Federation were surprised to see me, because yeah, I'm quite known also by the federation. And yeah, just try to promote Philippine football, and I'm trying to make that as a career. But obviously, like, I would call my career right now, my job right now, as a sidetrack. It's like I need the funds to moving forward to something that I really want to do. And it wasn't easy at first to convince myself that I have the capability, because it's also normal that I have insecurities. All of us have done. And thanks also to my therapist to say, like, hey Dub, why do you keep always talking shit about yourself? For fuck's sakes, you speak five languages. You lived in different countries. You, like what you just said, Rod, like literally the world is my oyster.
You can
How
live like
come?
half a ton. What are you talking about? Jeez.
And so it's like people were, and then at first I was like bothered, because she said positive things about me, because during I had a very darker time that I was so pessimistic of myself. and and I was even crying by hearing positive stuff from her. And I was like, then when she made me realize, like, hold on, no, why am I emotional from positive things about me rather than negative things? Because if it's the negatives, I was just comfortable hearing it, and then when it was the positive things about me, I got disturbed. So right now, I'm working on myself. I know that I'm struggling right now. I'm in a place that I'm lost, but it doesn't mean that I'm useless. I know that what I'm capable of. It's normal that I'm being lost right now, but eventually I'll find that way, that, how do you say, that road on my path, on my roadmap, rather, if you want to call it. And hopefully those who are also my age and even younger can realize
Are
that I know
are you a
we're,
people person, Nav?
yeah, yeah. It
I mean,
depends. Like,
do
there's
you need people? Do you need people's presence to excite you and to make you feel alive, or are you fine by yourself, or do you end up are you more negative? Do you end up with negative thoughts most of the time when you're alone, or can you function and do things and have hobbies and activities that you'd be fine doing it alone? Because Ice is a people person, but Ice is a people person, but he's also a reader. So there are also times when he's fine with reading. But I think Ice is at his peak when he's with people, and he that's why he longs for that. That's why he feels the absence of a companion when he's alone. Whereas with me, I actually seek being alone. I'm like, I I don't want to be like alone where nobody cares for me, but I just want to be. Most of the stuff that I want to do, it doesn't involve other people because I'm a control freak. So with
No,
you, how are you
it's
as of
more
being
like
alone?
it's like 50-50, to be honest, Rod. It's like being alone for me is like sometimes therapeutic, but at the same time it could be a curse, because like you said, if I'm alone, negative thoughts just come out. And the thing is, like, here in Italy, it's like I'm a people guy. But when I'm here in Italy, it's like, I don't get me wrong, I know how to speak Italian and all of that stuff, but sometimes some of the Italians won't get my humor, try to make it into Italian. And then while I'm with, like, I don't know, other nationalities, I feel comfortable. I don't know why. It's like, for example, especially like, I mean, I think it's also normal to understand. Like, for example, if I'm in the Philippines or I'm talking to other Filipinos, I'm like, look at me, motherfuckers. You want to hang out? Let's go out. Mga ganyan. But instead, like with Italians, instead, I was like, no, grazie. Like, no thanks. I'm all good. If I'm saying, I don't know. I just don't like vibe with them as much as I do with other people, and I'm trying my best, obviously. But if I can't like find that, parang okay lang, pasensya lang, just continue lang. Pero it's not like in other, like when I went to Spain, God knows how many people I've talked to randomly with Scots, with how do you say this, with Welsh people, with Spanish, because there's a lot of British people going to Spain as retirement homes, and they just go there, and I feel happy. I'm a people guy, but at the same time, it's kind of normal that there are times like, you know what, I'm like 50-50, like 50 ice and 50 rod. It's like I seek loneliness, but at the same time, I also seek people, and it really depends on the
It's
circumstances and
and
situation.
when I compare myself to Ice and why we're this way, a lot of it has to do with our environment growing up, because Ice has grown up in an environment where they all sleep together as a family in one bed. And whereas for me, I'm literally like, my dad's abroad, my mom's abroad, my lola is a career woman. I'm like stuck with the yaya at home. My sisters lived with my dad, so I was like alone in a big house with like non-relatives for a good duration of time. So I had to make do with what I had. Like I couldn't rely on people to make me happy or keep me company or provide me entertainment. So I had to be resourceful with being alone. That's probably why I developed drawing, because it's all required a pen and a paper and silence. And whereas with Ice, he really didn't develop a lot of these loner things because he always had family with him through the thick and thin. And with David, I know your situation, man. I know. I mean, your Tito's given me a little backgrounder of, and I know, we've spoken too, and I get you, man. I get that you're longing for a certain figure in your life, and I get that you've encountered a situation that was very painful and no kid should go through and all that stuff. But don't dwell on it. Rather, you can dwell on it, but think of it as something that makes you stronger, because it's an experience that you've already proven to yourself that you overcame. But you don't know about other kids, if they go through that, if they'd hang themselves, or they'd be drug addicts, or would they even finish college, or would they even. But you've proven to yourself that you did it, and you know what I'm saying. That's like you fought Mike Tyson and survived.
Doesn't
And
mean I have to win, but I survived.
you survived. Yes, you survived, and that's really what life is about. Nobody wins, dude. We all die in the end. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. In fact, the biggest loser in life is the biggest winner while they're alive, because they have the most to lose. Imagine having a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a rest house in Monaco, or whatever, and you die. You leave all that shit behind, dude. That the poorest person is the one happiest to die, because the only people with them are the ones that matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so think about it. Nobody wins in this life, dude. We're all gonna die. Nobody's gonna outlive anyone. We all gonna die. You just have to make sure that you don't waste a good chunk of your life dwelling on things beyond your control. I mean, sadness comes. Don't create it. That's what I always tell my son. I always tell Raj, if you're gonna have issues, make sure it's something that comes to you, and now you have to face it. And it's not something that you're bored, I'll be sad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, it's the cool thing to do, I'll be emo. It's like, yeah, if it makes you happy doing that, why not, right? I mean, there are people who are clout chasers, they say, right? These are people, right? There's a term now, clout chasers, and we've never had that when we were kids. And now I hear that, because of social media. But, anyways, I mean, Ice,
Look,
what's your advice? How will
I'm
you?
enjoying this conversation while hearing ASMR from I don't know who the hell is typing right now. It's like, wow. I'm enjoying ASMR right now while having a conversation
Right
with
there,
Rod. It's like,
right there, right there.
All the while, I thought it was Johnny Papa was like, pressing those keyboards. And I'm like,
ASMR,
holy
No,
crap!
no,
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 it's Raj.
mechanical
It's Raj
keyboard.
pala eh. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
Raj.
Yeah, the mechanical
Who the
keyboard
heck is
sounds
working
so
right now?
good. And I was like, wow,
It's
parang
satisfying.
ASMR na.
It's satisfying.
Satisfy ako eh.
Okay, go. Type.
Because it's like we're talking and there's like somebody working in the background, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're in an office and like there's somebody working.
It's like
somebody's doing
it's like you're at
something, we're
UM.
just hanging
It's like
out.
you're at UM and
I
having this
know.
guy type your thesis.
Tumatambay.
Oh,
Parang tumatambay lang sa UM tapos may nagtatype.
been there, done that.
Okay, Ice, you're the one who's dealt with, mental health, not necessarily, intrusive thoughts and all that stuff. You're the one who's gone through something that really affected you, and I thank God, but in terms of insecurity, Dav, Ice and myself, I can honestly say I don't think we have any.
Yeah, but the thing
We're
is,
not insecure people.
I think I'm suffering from like OCD, and once you have OCD, you get to have decent, like these intrusive thoughts, and it's not just like the one I went through. It's different. Like, okay, that was the one that really bothered me, but there are also other things like thinking about I'm sick. That's why my sister's like happy that okay, finally you're gonna be busy, because you
Stop googling stop
yeah, I
googling your
know. You have
symptoms.
so much free time in your hands that you just like you feel something in your tummy and you're like, this cancer? Holy fuck, is this cancer? Is this my kidney? Oh my god, am I having liver problems now? Right? And I've been getting headaches lately, and I told you, right? I've been seeing several doctors, and like everything's clear. I went to an ENT. It's clear. It's not Meniere's disease. I had a CAT scan
Wow,
again.
grabe.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Then I had an MRI. It's clear. But up until now, I would still have like these headaches. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with me because the doctors are like, well, there's nothing wrong with you. Like the tests,
Dude.
they came back clear. So it's like, dude, I mean,
This is the solution.
yeah,
We all-
it helps from time to time.
Dude, that sometimes you just gotta let it out. Trust me, dude. After that, you'll be like, sa mukha, oy, kato naman eh."
Trust me when I
Dude,
say- trust
you just gotta do
trust
it,
me
dude.
when
That's
I
it.
say.
Just
When I
as-
say that you're-
That's what I do. I'm like, I'm cranky, I'm grouchy. Then I'm
feel
good.
that.
That's a
I was,
guy.
yeah, exactly right. Trust me when I say that his aunt
Roll the
is gonna be
dice,
all
roll the
over him.
dice.
His aunt is gonna be all over him. Like, you're the one who's
Ro-
bringing it up every single time. It's you who's bringing it up. Nobody's bringing it up. You're the one bringing it up.
No. No, but it's true. This is real men talk, though, It's true.
Dude, like, what makes you think I'm not doing it? I'm doing it. But the thing is, I can't.
You see?
Here's the thing. I'm doing it, but I can't be.
I'm the
drinking out
I'm the
whole
bad guy because I talk about it, but we all do it.
No, I get your point. Okay, I'm 44. How many times do you think I can jerk off in a day? You think I can survive 5
Okay.
comes? Like coming 5 times in one day?
Maximum
Dude, I will
3.
die. I will die. Yeah, 3. That would give me more headache the next day. If I jerk off 3 times in one day,
Dude,
that would
dude.
really give me a bad headache the next day.
Remember I had shoulder
tried.
issues.
I tried. Yeah, yeah. You felt better when you started jerking off.
No. That's what gave me the shoulder issues.
'Cause I remember having this vertigo attack like years ago. I had vertigo attack. I was hospitalized for about like almost a
fuck,
week.
vertigo pa
Then
talaga.
even if I was like I couldn't move, dude, I
That's
still did
terrible,
it.
man. That's terrible.
I did it.
Thank
For some
God I-
reason,
thank
every
God
time
I don't
do
have
something,
that.
Like sexual, it kind of like I feel a little bit better, but then it comes back after that. So that's the thing. Yeah, it's. I would say that I don't know what Johnny Pampa is going through right now, like really like totally. But
Yeah.
I know that he's probably thinking about stuff that he feels inadequate in certain things. But we all do. Like when I
True.
was young, see, you know what? Sunscreen. It helps me every time. Every time I feel down since the beginning of time. Since
You know that
the first
song
time
or
like
that
Sunscreen. Do you know that song?
we played that at Ikilabi. Bas Luhrmann,
Baz
the
Luhrmann,
the,
like-
the director.
Baka siguro if I hear it.
Search it.
then,
Search
Yeah,
it. Listen to it. Search it.
It's sort
Listen
of like
to it.
it's not really a song. It's like sort of a narration.
It's life advice.
Radio, yeah. The radio stations they played it back in the day, and I heard it, and since the first time I heard it, I would always listen to that
I
because
so agree with
there's
it.
like lots of very insightful things there,
The,
and
the, the
every
line I
time,
like
every
the
time,
line I like the most is the one that goes, um, live in California but leave before you get too soft. Live in New York but leave before you get too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's that man that says so much, right?
leave before it makes you hard.
Use
Go hard. You go hard.
hey, that's my job. I'm supposed to be saying stuff like that.
Wala.
Okay.
Contagious.
Mga gago.
Wow, mahulog na naman tayo sa tae nito. But really, kidding aside. I know Ice can't stay forever because he's an hour ahead. So yeah, but I'll just say my piece, and then Ice will say his piece for you, Johnny Pompa. Dude, I at the end of the day, you know your blessings. You know you've been blessed. Like people tell you live in Italy. You speak so many languages. You went to school in another country in the first. You've experienced a part of life that many Filipinos would only dream of and can't even dream of because they don't really know how to even begin. And you've had that opportunity, but at the other end of the spectrum, there are also a lot of things in life that you were deprived of. But you know what? At the end of the day, here's how I see it. If I was deprived of a certain thing, I'm glad I was deprived of it at a stage in my life where I wasn't conscious enough so that I really can't compare having it and having without having or not having it. I just know for the fact that I didn't have it. And I can't really say it's a loss because I didn't really feel having it. And I think you know what I'm talking about here. So I know that has an effect on you. I know that enters your mind. I know you feel like it's tough to belong. It's tough to belong, man. I mean, like our parents have other priorities. Maybe there are, and you feel like maybe you're not the top of the list or whatever. But dude, at the end of the day, you're what, 29 years old? You're too old to be dwelling on that. You're an adult. You looked forward all your life to be an adult. So don't dwell anymore on the things that affected you as a child. Now you can do something about it when you become a parent. Now you can do something about it when you become a dad, right? So don't worry about the things that didn't happen, that didn't work out. It made you stronger, trust me. And I'm thankful for the adversity that I've gone through in my life. I've had a near death experience when I was Raj's age, and I'm thankful that I went through that. It's made me more careful about things. I respect violence now and don't take it for granted and don't think trivial things of it, because I know it can happen. And, you respect the family unit more now because maybe it's something you never really had as a whole. There's so many things that you don't take for granted anymore because you didn't have it. And now you're at the stage in your life where you're at a transitional period where you make the best version of yourself so that when you find that woman, hopefully it's a woman, all right? I mean, I hope you're not like confused about your gender or what. It's not that, right? You're Johnny Pampa for crying out loud.
Exactly.
You're not Joanna Pampa. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so when you meet that woman, she'll meet the best David, the best version of David, not the insecure David, not the David was confused. Iron those issues out, dude. Iron those issues out. Because a woman will walk out the door once she sees a guy who cannot provide security, emotional, financial, and all that stuff. All right? So iron those issues out while you can, while nobody's involved, like a kid or a wife or whatever. And once you're through that and you become the man that you are, dude, trust me, man. I mean, dude, we survived. Look at me. Look at Ice. Compared to you, what you've been presented with. Come on, dude. You graduated. I'm proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of you. You did it without, maybe your parents around you all the time, right? Right? You were like with your Lola. You were everywhere. You transferred. I mean, that's tough, dude. That's tough for any kid. I mean, you could easily just lose track of, lose focus on your education or whatever. But dude, you graduated, man. Come on. You have a degree. You're a man. You've proven something. Nobody can take that away from you. Dude, come on. You can't fail anymore. You're already a success story. But you don't like being complimented. So, Hey, you ugly mug. You fat fuck. You said you're more comfortable with that.
Nah,
Punyeta ka!
Punyeta ka! Magtrabaho ka na maayos!
ah,
No, trust me, man. I don't like hearing that shit. I hear that too often. But
He'll get the call later. He'll
I
get the
like
call.
I like compliments. I like compliments.
oh, it's like good job, daddy. Like I love you, daddy.
Oh, you're so
Ganyan,
big.
or,
Oh, you're so long.
Hoy,
No,
daddy,
those
why
are,
are you
no.
watching that, daddy?
Dude, your
Hoy.
laughter, dude, pwede ka pang porn. Pwede ka pang porn. Rape scene. David. The new Dick Israel of the Philippines.
Yawa. Basic Viva Max na yan ba? Viva Max!
Dude, you're laugh as much as you can, man. You're a kid. Laugh as much as you can. Wait till you're our age. Wait till you're our age, and problems will come, and you don't want it anymore. Like, I'm fine. I don't have issues anymore. Please, and then you'll get a backache, and then you'll have vertigo, and then you'll have tuition fees to pay, and then you'll have another job like ICE that you have to adjust to. The problems will come. Wait for it. All right? Don't create it. Don't create it. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's
So
I'm done. So that's my advice.
like I
Drop the
said,
mic.
there's just like so many things that you can learn from that it's not a song. It's from from the sunscreen. There's just like it's all cropped up in there. It's everything's in there. Like for example, there's a part there that says don't feel guilty if you don't know what to do with your life, right? Some of the 40-year-olds, or some of the 40-year-olds, most interesting people at 40, they don't know what to do with their
They
lives.
don't. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so it's there. It's like, it's the race is long, and it's not with anybody. It's with yourself. So at the end of the day, it's just you. It's like, how do you value yourself, right? I mean, other people might not see the value in you, but you have to see the value in yourself, because that's the most important thing. Because you have to not give a shit what they think about you. You have to give a shit what you think about yourself. Because
Yes.
I mean, it's you we're talking about here,
Correct.
right? Don't think about don't even think about what your parents think of you. This is what my father taught me, and I kind of put it into heart. And so even if we disagree on things, it's because it came from him. He told me to read all of these books and whatever, and I've come to a point that I was comfortable like arguing with him, and even talking, like sometimes to a it was borderline disrespectful, but he knows I didn't really mean it that way. But it was at that point that I didn't even care what he thought of me. Like, dude, this is my father who told me, like, no, you can't do it. Like, you sound like you sound like a
Cockroach.
mouse or a cockroach. Yeah, exactly. You sound like a cockroach. No, you're not gonna make it. It was my dad who said that to me. I was like, what? No, fuck you. No, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it, and I did it. And it was like, all right. And it was like, yeah, you're good. It was like, see, that was our relationship. So if I didn't give a fuck what my dad thought of me, I don't give a fuck about what other people think of me. Right? This is my dad we're talking about. I didn't have issues with that. So if you're going through something, and it's just like, just think about it, like, it's the most
At
important
least you had
thing.
a dad.
Yeah, but still, dude.
No, we have dad
Yeah,
issues. We have dad issues. I have dad issues. Do you know that?
yeah, but here's the thing, like, yeah, like, okay, you can say that, right? At least you had a dad, but then I have so many things in life that I didn't have, right? Growing up without a car, growing up like sometimes going hungry, like I can go on and on. The list goes on. And like, I mean, if you say like, oh, I didn't have a dad, but then you were able to eat a lot three
I
times a
had
day,
I had a
like you were like
He-Man. I had
you had a
He-Man.
He-Man toy, that's a trade-off.
I know.
That's a
The hell
trade-off,
with my
right?
dad. See you, dad.
No, all I'm saying is we are dealt with different cards, right? And you have to do, like, for example, me. I tell my wife, we decided to move years ago, to move to Japan. I look at my classmates; they have like high positions now. If we stay there and got a regular job, we would be in high positions too. But no, we made that choice. We made that jump. And now we have to deal with shit. So I have to deal with my shit now. And see, I
Yeah.
have to talk to myself walking around a supermarket, talking out loud to myself. People thinking I'm crazy, but I have to face that because I have to survive. I have to survive. And there's no other way but to just just go with it and just give it another shot.
Ice is the guy who could be as rich as Jeff Bezos, and you'd still be saying, "I have to survive." I have to. I need to.
Dude, no,
No, he's that guy. He's that guy. I'm not kidding. He's like, I need to save. I have to buy my daughter a Switch. It's
I am
expensive. It has to.
I'm not kidding. See, dude, whatever you think that
He's that guy.
it's
He's that
not
guy.
much.
He's that
It's not
guy.
that much. I'm telling you, David. You're 29. You're in Italy. Your whole life is ahead of you.
It is.
And,
It is.
dude. Just just
David, you're in Davao now. You're in Davao
No,
now.
no, Italy pa
he's
rin.
back in Italy,
Oh, hold on. I'll show you something. I'll show you something for a sec.
Wait lang.
dude.
Because,
After this, listen to look for sunscreen. Try to listen to it just one time. I tell you, you will feel better about yourself. Trust me, 100%. You will feel better.
All right. So Raja and I, we went to Fully Booked recently, right? And we're both nerds, so we play video games and stuff. And I'm like, we can't just be spoon fed with this like games that we play and stuff. We got to do it like hardcore with and I thought of you. So we got the
Wow.
and then we got the Essentials kit. Yeah,
D&D
so
pa talaga.
so we're doing D&D and we got the Wilderness kit. So I actually invited your Tito Mao. I told him because he had this idea or something he was proposing to me. I said, drop by the house. Let's do a campaign. Let's do D&D because it's the 5th edition and I've never done 5th edition. I did the old.
This is what
5th edition.
Bags is talking about. Because he's so bored not doing anything, he ends up buying all this shit. I know what Bags is, going through.
Dude, I've always been a reader. I've always been I love this nerdy shit. I'm a comic book guy. I've always been this dude, anime, all that stuff. It's just I haven't outgrown it, and I'm glad I haven't. I'm glad I haven't because now I get to share it with my son. It's what I'm saying. Because if I did, I wouldn't be as cool a dad as I'm not saying I'm a cool dad, but how many dads actually do D&D with their kids? You know what I'm saying?
You're a cool dad.
I am a cool dad. I'm a nerdy dad. I'm actually more childish than my kids, but at the same time, it's
Papa,
like,
more Roblox, please. More Roblox, please.
yeah. I mean, it's just So David, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you've become, but you don't like being complimented in. So leche, walang kwentang pata.
Listen to sunscreen. Listen to sunscreen. You
Yes.
feel better about yourself.
Yes, search it. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I remember searching it on YouTube one time. I couldn't find it. It's hard to find, but find the lyrics of it on
is.
Google. It's hard, right?
It is on
Is
YouTube.
it? Okay.
It is on YouTube. I've been listening
Read-
to it lately because of what I went through last 2 weeks.
Listen to it. That's perfect advice from Ice. Anything we say here, it's like that song will we'll just yes, it will.
Everything is in it.
It's there. It's there. It's there. It's when I would listen to that, I would also say to myself, dude, how did this guy say the words that I exactly needed to hear? You actually say that to yourself. You'd be like, this is exactly what I need to hear. It's things that you already know, but you have to be told it to be reminded of it. And sometimes when you're in that stage in your life, David, like you're 29, maybe that was your Tito Ice at Kilo B. Having relationship issues and financial problems and, family drama, listening to that and going, holy crap, Yeah, and coming out of it kind of like a more enlightened person. It doesn't solve your problems, but it explains to you how to weave through it, basically. Don't face your problems head on. Weave through it. Di kay likay ba? Crossover. Crossover.
Crossover.
360. Problema, 360.
Right. Yeah. Just
Diba?
just go with it. Just go
Don't
with
bump it. Yeah. I mean, it's
it.
there.
Don't go against it. Just go with the flow. Just flow with it.
Spin move.
Oh, well.
Spin move.
Yeah. Step back.
Step back ba?
Anod lang ba? Anod.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This
Okay.
is. Yeah.
We'll give you the last words, Johnny. We'll give
Go
you the
ahead,
last
Johnny.
words.
Yeah. So I know we'll have you again. I mean, you can join us anytime. We need
Yeah.
a third voice. Pinky
So,
left us. Pinky
Yeah.
Pinky outgrew us. Pinky outgrew us. She's like, I'm too mature for these
He left
guys.
us. He left us for dead. All right.
Maway pulos. Like, maway
Yeah,
pulos.
probably.
Bahala mo diha.
Walang
Mabataw ah.
walang pupuntahan to.
Wala mo ato. Unsam ni. Ano, sige, kog ani-ani sa podcast. No, pero I've been back to Davao, to be honest. Pero to be honest, like right now, as much as you said, like first, like you miss Davao and everything. Pero ngayon, I'm in the point like I can move on and I don't really need
Right.
Davao. It's like, don't get me wrong, love Davao because obviously I love my Lola.
That's
Even
good.
Rod knows
That's
that I'm a
good.
Lola's boy.
Yes,
and all
same
that.
here.
I'm a Lola's boy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like I kind of need to move forward, and I can't just always attach myself to Davao. Davao will always
Yes.
be in me, and all. But at this point, like in my mind, it's like, you know what? I just need to just move forward and not always be attached on what's happening in Davao. Like I'm happy Davao is changing and all, but the only thing I hate right now about Davao when I visited there back then is the traffic, man. Jesus, and I thought I thought EDSA was worse. Going to Davao was worse. That is not just the traffic. It's like like how the fuck am I supposed to go from A to B if it's all like that? And the thing is, it's like if you try to walk, it's like you're Indiana Jones just trying to stay on the pedestrian.
I know.
Like,
If there's even one, you're like literally it's all street.
diba? It's like going to Mantina, diba? Going to Mantina near GSIS. There's like literally the sidewalk. It's like you have to like alam mo yung Indiana Jones when he's on a cliff and then he's just
Yeah.
doing it sideways.
Yeah,
There.
yeah.
That's the sidewalk. That's Davao City for you. Diba?
Yeah, well, I
So,
mean, yeah. To be fair, come on, you're in Europe, dude. Italy is, I
How?
mean, but then again, you're not here for that. You're here for the people. That's what
Yeah.
draws you in.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the people.
and there-
I know with
it's the people.
Iceman, we could be like a freaking like with Neanderthal ages or whatever, not have anything. And it would still miss the people. It's the people. That's what my mom told me.
the
The number
people,
one,
yeah,
the number one
people
export
talaga.
product of the Philippines is the people. We're the That's our number one export product. The people. It's not the bananas.
That's
It's not the.
that's
It's the people.
That's facts. Like the fact that when I went to the tournament in Spain to watch the women's national team in football, like that, like Filipino hospitality is still there. It's like
We're so unique. We are so unique.
we're
Filipinos
so
are
unique.
so unique. We're so unique.
like alam mo, like kahit hindi mo siya kilala, you're still gonna invite them to the no, and then those two, by the way, shout out to Tita Nida and to Tita Raquel, who literally adopted me as if I'm their own kid. Like,
And you don't exactly look like a harmless puny boy, right?
No,
You're a ginormous, scary looking guy.
Kaya they kept saying, "Hoy, ikaw ba? Kain ka na." It's like, "Tita, busog na ako." "Anong busog? Ano kala mo? Kain ka, don't me." I was like, "Hindi na, tita."
Yeah, Filipinos are awesome, man. I mean, I have a love-hate
You roll with
relationship. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with their own people. But hey, save that for the next episode. We'll talk about that. The Filipino, what's awesome about Filipinos, and maybe what's not so awesome about it.
Sige,
That can be for another day.
All right,
But-
sige, closing
But
remarks na.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, I just want to give like big shout out, obviously, like if for those who are still watching, if you reach until the end, you're the real one. If you're interested in like Philippine football content, please go to Eat Sleep Breathe Football. We talk about anything under the sun with regards to Philippine football and in general. And
Are you the admin? Are you the admin of that? You're running
Yeah,
it?
I'm
Wow.
running
Okay.
it. I'm
cool.
running it.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm telling you.
Alongside with other two people, which are we call ourselves the Titos because we are Titos. Shout out to Tito Jamer and Tito Glenn, along
Holy
my
crap,
fellow
we're grandpas
Titos.
now. We're the Titos, we're the grandpas, we're the Lolos. The Lolos.
God. It's not. It's not wag. It's not wagkoya anymore. Right? It's waglo. Waglo. Sige na, neneng. One time lang. Sige na, iha. Oh, jeez.
Ay, nako. And obviously, thanks for inviting me to the show, man. It's been a while since I'm
Anytime.
in the OK
Anytime.
show.
Dude,
the
yeah.
fact that Pinky abandoned you, I was like, kawawa naman. He abandoned. But yeah, thanks again. Thanks again for inviting me,
Yeah.
Dude,
man.
of course, man. Dude, remember, David, in case you forgot, this started because of you. I saw
Yeah,
you and John.
exactly.
I saw you and John do your podcast, and I asked about StreamYard, and I brought it up with Ice, or Ice brought it up with me, whatever. And like, oh, and you research, dude. Remember, all right? If it not for your podcast with Mr. John Paulo Nakane, this would not have happened. This would
Exactly.
not, and it's been a big help to both of us, to Ice and myself,
True.
for
True.
our well-being, and just to
Yeah.
practice English in general.
We're two dinosaurs who don't know shit, and you just like gave them the
I
information.
know. I know, and this guy was like, StreamYard, what the heck is this guy doing? He's like,
I
they're
know.
doing a
It's like,
podcast. It looks legit. I'm like, it's this
I only know
David.
Skype. Like, what do you mean Skype? Like, no, it's not Skype. It's a different thing. Like, all right, what it is?
Yeah.
Well, what is it? Like, all right, okay.
Yeah, it's a good
Here we are.
investment. It's a
Here we
good
are.
investment just to be able to do this through the magic of technology. And that's why you're connected to this show forever, because this wouldn't have happened
Yes.
if not for you.
Anytime.
Yeah, but one question. Has my uncle ever been part of the show or wala pa talaga?
No,
Not
he's
yet,
too chicken.
never. Can you,
He's
like,
too
talk to the
chicken.
guy? Can you talk to the guy?
Dude, he's got I'm inviting him over. I don't know when he's coming, but he's supposed to be here because he's supposed to talk to me about like this Reddit thing, or I don't know what it is. But
Yeah, actually,
yes,
I missed the guy. It's been ages.
he always
since
has his
I've
ideas.
seen him.
I know, but see the thing with Mao, it's like he can't stay at one place for a good duration of time. Like if he'll come to my house, I'll give him like a good 15 minutes and be like, dude. Saan tayo? He will want to be where people are and socialize,
Oh. See?
Yeah, that's my
like,
uncle.
I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to drink
He
beer
will
with
not-
him.
He will not
You know?
survive in Italy. He will not survive in Japan.
Yeah, because he go nuts.
He would go nuts.
You would go
The
nuts.
best place for him, where he is right now.
Yeah, it's always like.
obviously with easy
And of course-
becoming my child.
And of course with him driving drunk and all that stuff, yeah, he'll go to jail like the first night in a first world country.
Yeah, like yung breathalyzer pa lang, GG.
Oo, like-
Diba? I don't know in the Philippines if no, so Philippines walang breathalyzer, wala tayong budget gani for other stuff. But obviously if it's in Italy,
Well, there is, but they'll just sniff your breath. They'll be like, pasimot daw. MP light.
guy nag-MP. Ay,
police officer
dili
said,
MPDI, Red Horse. Red Horse, gisagol. Gisagol.
Mistisa.
Yeah,
All right. Anyways. All right. So we'll do another episode. And Ice, when are we doing our next one? Monday?
Let's do
Tuesday?
Monday or, like,
Tuesday.
it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday's too painful. I know you're. Monday.
Yes, no hands basketball. I have to
Yeah.
be there, help out.
Okay, Tuesday,
coach and
Tuesday.
stuff.
And John, if you're around, let us know. All right, just
just let us
just hop
know.
on board
Yeah,
anytime.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but like ako weekends lang because obviously like work.
I
I know.
have a job and stuff like that. Yeah,
Dude,
Alright,
he's managing 5 restaurants.
exactly.
Yeah.
But,
But
I
thanks a
mean,
lot for joining us, and I hope you're okay now. Listen to Baz Luhrmann's Sunscreen.
listen.
And yeah.
Ano,
listen to
what
the show,
sunscreen
right?
by who? What's the name of the guy?
Spell.
Baz Luhrmann.
B Z Z.
BAZLHURMAN.
Yes. He's
Luhrmann,
like a
Baz
director.
Luhrmann.
He is like a director. Like a.
Yung director of Elvis. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Baz Luhrmann, that guy.
And other, I think Chicago or something. Some other like musical
Gatsby.
movies. Yeah, Gatsby.
He
Yeah,
was the
Baz
voiceover
Luhrmann.
of that
That guy.
Check it
That
out.
guy.
Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Listen to it.
Our special guest Johnny Pampa, thank you, and of course Rodriguez and Iceman, thank you for joining us. We will see you on the next one. We are out. Good night.
Bye.